This is a brief video to show you how to create compare and save shelf talkers for your private label products. This may or may not be a manual process. If your drug wholesaler can provide you a file with the UPC of the private label product along with its matching brand product, you can use universal import to import that information into the system. That is outside the scope of this discussion, but be aware of it and then our support team can help you. Now, let's get right into this. I'm starting this in the product manager, and I've already brought up GMP ibuprofen, which is the private label brand. I go to the General Parameters tab, and on the General Parameters tab, you'll find a field called Brand Equivalent Barcode. So all we need to do is put in the brand equivalent barcode for the brand equivalent, which in this case, if I hover over here, you'll see is Advil 200 milligram caplet 100. The exact same product as this GMP ibuprofen. So that's the only setup that occurs in Product Manager, and you do that for each one of the private label products you want to create this compare and save shelf talker for. As you do that, you can make it easy on yourself on the label program by also pressing F8 label. And what that does is it sends this particular item to the label queue so that when you've done all your setup, you can simply go to the label queue, pull up those items, and print the new shelf talkers. Here's the label program, and I'm not going to go into too much detail on how to use the label program. I'm going to assume that you already are familiar with the label program, and if you're not, then our support team will help you through this process. With our label program, we can create an unlimited number of formats. And I'm going to go ahead and start under F8 format. And I already have defaulted my compare and save format. If you're not familiar with this part, when you set up a new format, you tell it whether it's portrait or landscape, whether you want to display it on the screen, the paper size, and then you tell it the margins for the labels, the number of rows and columns per page of label material on the page, and then what the actual dimensions of each label are. Once you've done that, you'll have a blank screen, and you can just start pulling fields from the screen. In this case, it's the report description, here's the UPC code, here's the actual barcode printed, here's the retail price for the item, compare with the brand item's name, the barcode of the brand item, just text regular price, and there's the price of the brand item. And then the and save text, you notice I have them in red. You can change those colors. You can do any fonts you want, sizes you want, so forth. And then here's the saving amount. So up here we have different tabs, and the one I want to bring to your attention is this compare and save tab. This is where this particular information comes from. The upper portion here pulls from the item that you have selected, in the case the ibuprofen, and then here we have the different fields of the brand. So here's brand information, brand phase, brand POS description, brand pricing. So that's where I get the information for this section, and then where the savings is right here. So it automatically does these calculations for you, so there's nothing for you to do. Once you've created the format, you're ready to print your labels. Now it's time to load the item to print. I'm going to go to Load Items, and I can choose Product Manager, and only the labels where I pressed F8 label in the Product Manager will show up in this query. So I'll click OK, and there's that ibuprofen, and now I'll click Print, click OK. In the real world, it would print to the printer. I have it printing to a file so that I can show you what that looks like. And here's what my format looks like. Once again, you can tailor this any way you'd like. You can use pre-printed stock, so you can make this your own. And basically, that's all there is to it. I hope this helps. If you need assistance, reach out to our support team and they'll be happy to help you. Thanks and have a great day.